This video shows me making, and I'm going to give a review of a recipe from the Disney Princess Healthy Treats Cookbook. It's Tiana inspired, and it's called Lottie Sweet Potato Pie Muffins. It's kind of a breakfast treat. So these are sweet potato pie muffins. They're a healthier version of a muffin. They are actually refined sugar-free, vegan, low-fat, and whole grains. So yeah, they're a pretty healthy version of a muffin. This recipe calls for 2 cups of sweet potatoes mashed and cooked. So what I'm doing right now is I peeled some sweet potatoes and I'm going to boil them in the water, and then I will mash them once they are done like I would a mashed potato. For my muffin pan, it says to just line it with baking spray, but the picture they were in liners, so I am using muffin liners for my muffins. Now it's time to start preparing the muffins. First, I'm going to take a large bowl and mix together the dry ingredients, and the first thing that is going in is the whole wheat flour. There is no refined sugar, but there is coconut sugar, and that is what I'm getting ready to add next. Now I'm adding a teaspoon of baking powder. I also add half a teaspoon of baking soda to this. Next is some salt going in. My final dry ingredient going in is 1.5 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice. Now I'm whisking all the dry ingredients together, and when I do this, I'm supposed to make like a well in the center in which I will add the wet ingredients. As you can see, I added my mashed sweet potatoes to the recipe, as they call for. It calls for a couple cups. Now I'm adding almond milk. You can use oat milk instead of almond milk. It is dealer's choice here. Now adding a touch of vanilla extract. Now I'm putting in some maple syrup. After that, I'm also going to add some apple cider vinegar, and then I'll have all my wet ingredients. Now it's time to fold all the ingredients together until everything is nice and combined. Now it's time to put the muffin mixture into the muffin tins. Once they're done, I will bake them in the oven for about 20 minutes at 375 degrees until the muffins are golden brown. Here are the muffins done and out of the oven. Review time. These were really pretty tasty. It's funny, I was sharing them with my husband out of the oven, and he was eating them. He's like, you know what these need? He's like, they need like a little bit of like whipped cream or Cool Whip with them. I was like, oh my gosh, I got all excited. I was like, you're right. And guess what? I have some Cool Whip in the fridge that's thawed. I was using it for something else. So we put some on top, and it was delicious that way. Absolutely loved it. It ruins probably the healthy version of it. I mean, I did use reduced fat Cool Whip, but it probably takes away some of the health factors that you get from these muffins, but they were still really excellent that way, and we really enjoyed them. And I'm also one that loves like my pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving with Cool Whip on top of it, and that's what it reminded me of eating this. So let's get into the rankings. The first, I want to rank the ingredients on a scale of 1 to 5, and that's a combination of how hard are these to find and cost. And it's like a 1.5, meaning everything's really simple, easy to find, not really super expensive. The coconut sugar can sometimes be a little bit harder to find. That's why I ranked it slightly above a 1, just because I have, that to find sometimes. Difficulty level on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 is easy and 5 is hard. I mean, I think this is a solid 1.5 to 2. It's really not hard. I mean, there's a few steps involved, but it's just mixing any kind of batter together like you did. If you opt to make the sweet potatoes, that probably bumps it closer to a 2 because there's extra time involved in making them with that mashed sweet potato. I mean, you could use the canned, or you could just buy like pre-made mashed sweet potatoes in the store or something like that. And then when I make this again on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 is never because I hated it, and 5 is absolutely all the time because I loved it. I'm gonna give it a 4, meaning I really did like it. I think there are other muffins out there that I still prefer a little bit more than this. So that's why it's not quite a 5 for me personally. But in terms of like, maybe around like the holidays, if I've got some extra sweet potatoes laying around, or something like that, I could definitely see myself using them up to make this.